Hey, what is up guys? It's Mordant. So, my video covering the live stream for Wuthering Waves version 1.3 is still on its way, but I wanted to talk about something that I believe a lot of people are a lot more curious about at the moment, which is the new characters and their kits. So let's actually get straight into that. The first character that was introduced is Youhu, a 4-star glacial character who is also an antique appraiser. She has a ton of lore around her, also explaining why she doesn't sound the way that she looks. But the main thing that is of importance to us is her abilities. Now, Youhu is not a fighter, so from what I've seen here, we shouldn't really expect much from her normal attacks. They're probably going to be very low scaling and very weak, but these are the animations for her normal attacks. Now, what I believe will be the source of her entire kit will be both her resonance skill and her resonance liberation. Now, how Youhu as a character works is she always carries around a bag that is full of antiques, and she uses these antiques to fight when she's out and about in the open world. Now, from what I understand, whenever you trigger her resonance skill, you will get 1 out of 4 different antiques that she has in her bag. So if you weren't tired of already playing gacha in every other aspect of the game, you can then get Youhu to enjoy a little bit more gacha. But these 4 different antiques, and by the way, I'm not sure if they are 4. The reason why I say they are 4 is because of this scene over here where we see 4 different antiques, but there could be more. I'm not very sure. But each one of these antiques, when they are brought out, will have a different kind of buff. Whether this buff applies only to Youhu or whether it applies to the entire team remains to be seen. We don't have any details on that. But because there's going to be a problem with using a different antique every time she presses her resonance skill, the devs added in a guaranteed count system, which they said they implemented with her resonance liberation. And the way that I think this works is in this animation that I showed before, where this explosion happens and we're able to choose any one of the antiques that she has available to her. I believe that how her resonance liberation works is when you use her resonance liberation and continue using her resonance skill for a little while, you will get this animation. And when you get this animation, you are then able to choose the particular antique with the particular buff and effect that you want for your characters. When you get that, then you'll probably be able to deal the best amount of damage that is available to you based on the build of the character. So from everything that we're seeing here, the most likely thing that Youhu is going to be is a support character. Not really a DPS, which I guess makes sense. Now, whether she's going to be a better support character than, say, Verena, that remains to be seen. But I want to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think about this gacha mechanic that they added to it? I like the idea of the QTE system, but I'm not really sure I'm a fan of the whole different antique every time you press the resonance skill. Of course, the whole getting a different antique every time you press the resonance skill thing has not been expressly said, but this is what I understand from the live stream that we got from the devs. So I think that maybe, just maybe, this might be what they are going for. But I'm always welcome to be wrong, and I'm also curious to hear if you guys think that this is going to work a different way altogether. But with that said, let's now talk about the most important character, the 5-star character, the Shorekeeper. Now, the Shorekeeper is basically another version of Verena. Wuthering Waves saw that a lot of teams were struggling with sharing Verena between all of them, so they decided to add another character that can basically serve the same function as Verena, but then can also be put in another team. So the main things that the Shorekeeper can do are healing and buffing. Now, the problem with the live stream is that they didn't actually go into specifics. Like, they didn't talk about specifically what her resonance skill does, but we do know a little bit about what her resonance liberation does. Her resonance liberation, or her ultimate, gives us a buff, and one of those buffs is going to be a buff to crit damage. Now, this is a little bit different from Verena. Verena gives a buff to attack, and a lot more characters actually benefit from attack, but then having a little bit more crit damage will always be nice. Now, whether the Shorekeeper is going to give us other buffs, including attack buffs or anything else, remains to be seen because we didn't get any specifics. But one of the things that we know about the Shorekeeper is that she will be able to save any character that is about to die from an enemy's attack. It essentially works the way you think. When your character is about to die from an attack, the character will essentially die, but then they will get immediately resurrected by the Shorekeeper, and they will also have full health. So basically, she's a character that you will like to have if you suffer from skill issue in the game. Now, aside from these things, there's really not much else that we know about the Shorekeeper, but there is one other cool feature that she has. She has the ability to turn into a butterfly, and when she turns into this butterfly, which is also called her unbound form, she has the ability to travel very, very fast and very, very far, actually, from what I've seen from the footage. And also she's able to collect materials in this state. So think like Nahida, but instead of actually having to stand in place and then view all of the things that you want, you can actually just fly past them and actually collect them. So you're covering distance while at the same time also collecting materials. That is going to be very, very awesome to use in game. Like, I can already see how much less of a hassle it's going to be for a lot of people, especially if you know the farming routes in your head and you're in a rush to actually get all of those materials. Now, I want to talk about her intro skill. One thing that was mentioned here is that when you cast her Resonance Liberation, basically the sky becomes how you're seeing it right now, and then every single time a character does an intro skill, the color of the sky changes to match that character, and then after a while, after a certain condition is met, she would then trigger her own intro skill. It's a little strange. Does that mean that we can't do her intro skill the normal way that we normally do? That really remains to be seen. I feel like this part is a little bit ambiguous. I'm not very, very sure, unless I'm reading too much into it, but I think this part isn't really all that clear. Now, I could talk about the new weapons that we got, but we don't get any information on the new weapons. All we know is that we're getting a new 4-star weapon, which is probably going to be Youhu's signature weapon, as well as a new rectifier for the Shorekeeper, who is also a rectifier character. So aside from that, we don't know anything about the weapons and what their effects are going to be. If you want me to make a video talking about the weapons in particular and what they do and how and which characters could actually benefit from using these weapons and all of those kinds of things, let me know down in the comments, and when version 1.3 actually launches, I'll make a video talking about that. But with all that said, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to join the hideout on Discord and subscribe for Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, Project Mugen, NTE, and Azure Familiar videos. And once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.